is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. Where here you can find daily uploads Monday through Friday covering all the major sporting leagues, NBA, NHL, MLB, all the fun stuff. And in today's NBA episode, you already know what it is. We're going to be recapping Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night. And for everyone who tuned in, or if you haven't already, go check it out. Me and Nick live streamed this game, 2.5 hours, full thing, doing some fun little tier list in between, spin the wheels. It was a good time. And, I was thinking maybe doing an end of the stream early, was getting ready to upload TikTok when Celtics went up by 21.
What do you mean getting ready, bro? You did.
Maybe it was uploaded, maybe it wasn't. It was a Wi-Fi thing for sure.
That's true. That's true.
Here's what I'll say. This was a game of runs. I expected Dallas to come out swinging. They did. They went up 13 early on, but you knew the Celtics were in good hands, and we were talking about this during the live stream. When they were only down 1, despite the Mavericks looking like they played their best basketball, they were in good hands. And then it was still tied at half. It was very defensive second quarter. And then the third quarter, Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Derek White finally started stepping up, hitting just some timely shots after Jason Tatum and Sam Hauser kind of carried them in the first half. And then the Celtics eventually, they were getting stops on defense. Jaylen Brown had Luka frustrated. Luka was committing stupid fouls, which would end up coming back to bite them. But this, at the time, increased the Celtics lead to 21, and it looked like it was over. But then Dallas, Kyrie showed out this game, had his last push. Luka started getting some buckets. This was finally a Derek Lively series where he looked like himself in the previous Timberwolves series. But at the end of the day, Boston's defense, timely late free throws, Jaylen Brown shots to put them back up by 4. It's a huge credit. And, the biggest difference, I think, in this game was Luka just getting frustrated. And not having him out there for those final 3-4 minutes killed them in their clutch time offense. And that's what happens when, you play great defense. You get a player frustrated in his bag. He fouls out. And, congratulations to the Celtics. They pulled out a gritty win. And now they're on the verge of sweeping. They lead 3-0. No team has ever come back from 3-0. And I don't expect this Mavericks team, because they're not a super team. They have 2 really good players. But once again, another story is you see Luka filling up the box score. You see Kyrie. After that, it gets very dim. Tim Hardaway, 0 for 5. That's not going to do it.
Bro, you were certified.
Yeah, I feel bad. And I was just getting frustrated because why do you have Tim Hardaway out there? He hasn't bought a bucket since February. Because everybody remembers, he was the 6th man of the year favorite in the first half of the year. People are saying this guy, he's averaging 18 points, but he really fell off the second half of the season. It's a shame. But, they need some offensive spark. They couldn't get it from him. But with the Celtics, it was Derek White, Jaylen Brown, the Jays doing their thing, Drew Holiday getting some huge offensive rebounds, Sam Hauser stepping up, hitting 3 threes. Huge credit to Boston. But, Nick, you're the real Celtics fan here. So how are you feeling being 1 game away from banner 18?
I think I kind of gave my reaction last night.
Yeah.
It ain't over. Luka said it's not over. It's not over. I know it's the whole 3-0 lead, and if this was 29 other basketball teams, I would be right alongside you saying, oh, this is over. The series is over. But because it's my team and I believe in jinxes, and I was telling you,
It's not just you. I'll just say this: when the Timberwolves were up 3-0 on the Suns, even in the first round, I'm like, no one say it's over. We gotta win this. I get that mentality, but at the end of the day, it's just so hard. And it's not like it's been fluky, 3 fluky wins where you're like, oh crap. If they get 1 or 2 bounces, the series
they were pretty hard.
Yeah. But
I guess last night you could say if there was one game that the Mavericks probably could have won or should have won, it was probably last night when, they got out to that hot start, came back. But even if a team comes back, you can't say they should have won just because they erased the deficit. It's not
they shouldn't have won. It was just execution at the end.
Yeah. The Celtics, again, played great defense down the stretch. It's huge when Luka fouls out, They were talking about it on ESPN after the game. After we ended the live stream, I had it on and was just listening. And they were saying, Luka has been just a liability on defense, and nobody talks about it because of the numbers he puts up. And when he's on the floor complaining to the refs, putting his team in a bad spot, mentally exhausting them. It hurts them because they're trying to pick him up. They're trying to say, like, come on, let's go. Let's get back on defense. And he's just palms up looking at the ref for a foul. And then when he's in foul trouble with 4 minutes to go in the game, he tries to take a charge, tries to take a stupid charge where it wasn't a charge. He was moving his feet. So a bad defensive play there and just a dumb mental mistake that literally took him out of the game and cost his team pretty much.
That is a big part. Luka's defense, he's been like a traffic cone this series. And it's been so weird because this is why it's so hard to predict the playoff series from series. Because in the Timberwolves series, Luka looked a lot better on defense than he has this series. And, that was one area I was disappointed with the Timberwolves. They were talking about it always during the games. It was like they weren't attacking Luka. And it's like, why not? Like, get Luka in screens, make him work on defense, because you know what that's going to do? Get him into more fouls and also make him have, work harder on offense. And does he have that much gas? He'll start, front rimming a couple shots just because he's more tired. The Celtics have done a great job taking advantage of that. Credit to both teams. Both teams took a lot of punches this game. Both responded, but at the end of the day, Boston has just proven to be the bigger team, better team down the stretch when it matters most. When they need something, game 2, that huge block on PJ Washington, I believe, to make it like a 3-point game. Yeah. So, they just executed when it's mattered most. Obviously, for Dallas, it sucks. Now we head into game 4, and I mean, I don't know anything, but my assumption is Kristaps doesn't play. I think.
Really?
You're playing with house money right now. I told you he wouldn't play game 3. There was no reason to. You're up 2-0. You can, it's better to not risk it because now you're up 3-0. And there's no point because you'd rather have them be fully more 100% in game 5 if they need it at home. At this point, you've proven you can beat them without Kristaps. It's game 4. Dallas's backs are against the wall because then, you're taking a huge risk of him getting injured in game 4, just kind of rushing him back still. Because essentially, maybe I know you didn't agree necessarily with the game 3, playing with house money, but this is playing with house money. You're on the verge of potentially sweeping. So we'll see what happens, though. Who knows? He might give it a go to try and end the series here. But if it was my guess, I would say rest him as much as you can until you really need him in game 5. And that's, still you're up 3-1 heading back home. But with that being said, this should be exciting. The last 2 games have been really down to the wire. I expect game 4 to be something like that. I know Dallas will probably throw everything they have against the wall. Yeah. Luka will probably have one of his best games, but we'll see.
I'm willing to bet. This upcoming game, this first half, is going to be Dallas's biggest, thrown punch of the series and probably their whole playoffs, or at least attempted thrown punch. Maybe they try throwing up 10 threes in the first quarter and miss all of them, and then just sell themselves. But I think they got to sell out in this game to stay alive and get it back to Boston, because we kind of saw it, last game in the first quarter, and then the Celtics just slowly fought back, kept it a 1-point game. But I think this next game is going to be pretty similar to.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or maybe Dallas is just mentally exhausted. They came back from down 20 points, got it to a 2-point game, and just couldn't keep it going. For the last 2 minutes.
I'm hoping just for everyone's sake, it's a good game like these last 2 games. But yeah, with that being said, though, huge credit to Boston. They took every blow. Once again, that live stream, if you haven't already, make sure to tune in because it got crazy at the end. Our stream delay was a little bit behind, and we ended up just checking our phones at the end because we're like, screw this. We don't want to watch what happens. We're like 30 seconds behind. So it was a fun time. I know Nick, obviously, great ending for Boston to win. Most of our chat was rooting for Boston, so makes sense. Except for, I think Blake ended up winning his bet of Mavs plus 8.5, so he stuck by with that and the Kyrie over. So anyone sports betting advice might have to get him on for a pod.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it was fun, good time, just chilling, hanging out, playing a couple different games. But with that being said, Game 4 tomorrow. We'll obviously be back to preview that. But once again, huge credit to Boston. They are 1 win away from the Bay Area team, which officially will separate themselves from the Lakers for most banners of all time. But with that being said, thank you all for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.